All right, guys, I am streaming way ahead of time. I haven't even got a hold of Dan yet. Oh, it looks like he's typing. We're gonna have him in a second. If you're listening to this later on the YouTube channel, which not a ton of people do, but if you are, then you can fast forward. When you think we're gonna start, I don't know. Usually I put a timestamp in there, but sometimes I'm too late. Gonna be a lot of dead air right now. Me chilling right now. He's stuck on a call, so might not start for quite a minute. Who knows? Hear back from him. What's up, English Paul? Yeah, it's not a terrible episode, but not. Yeah, it's. I think you'll be fine if you, as long as you're not taking the show super seriously. My freaking. Dan's still on a call, so might be a minute before we start. I'm gonna be doing a little researching. I'll keep checking back over in the chat though. Man, Reddit, the Walking Dead Reddit hates the show. They hate the trash people too. That's for sure. Yay, sticking around with Paul, English Paul. How's everybody else? Who else is in here? Hello, everybody that's in here. So Dan just said if it's not over in 5 minutes, he'll bounce on it. No worries, I'm chilling here with Paul. Wait, so are you gonna just listen to the recap and skip the episode altogether, or are you gonna go back and watch it after? Doop 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 doop. Hey, if anybody just joined in, I'm waiting for Dan for a little bit. So we are just chilling here, and I am doing a little research and time to prepare for the episode, even though I don't really need to. Not a ton of it. So you isn't the book? I just to respond to what you said, English Paul. Isn't the book just like a million pages? Isn't it like two like 2,000 pages or something? The movie in general really wasn't that scary. English Paul, if you haven't seen the movie Clown, I know I've talked about it a lot, and maybe you've heard me talk about it a million times, but it's on. I believe it's on Netflix. It's like one of my favorite horror movies. It's pretty good. It might be cutting out a little bit. It seems like my streaming quality isn't very good right now. I don't know what it wants me to do. Hotspot. It's sad when my phone internet is faster than my home internet. I just don't understand how we got. I'm fed up with this world. Check out Clown and let me know. I think it's much. I mean, from a scarier level, it's definitely I think scarier um than it. It was pretty mainstream of a movie. I don't know if it's in. Now that I think about it, I don't know if it's in Netflix England. Dan says it's hanging up, so I think we might be rocking here. Uh, Okay, he says he's ready. Time to rock and roll.
Hello.
What up? We're already live. We're streaming live here with English Paul and a couple other people that are listening in without saying anything 'cause they're creeps.
They're just shy. Not everyone can be a superstar like you, Dylan.
That's the truest thing you've ever said.
Let me come in this fucking chat room, too.
Don't do that in the chat room, Dan.
All right.
Get it? Come in the chat room.
Yeah, I got it. It's real funny.
Pretty clever
Real
stuff.
funny.
Funny thing.
Okay. You talking about Clown? Man, that's like... Do you have stock in Clown, Dylan? You talk about that movie once a day.
When did you hear? How did you know that I was talking about Clown? Oh, wait.
It's in the chat room.
Oh, I've heard Clown recommended. Yeah, I see. I was like, how the hell did you know? We were talking about that a long time ago. It's because we were talking about the movie It. So of course Clown came up. But you're right. I do.
Yeah.
I've talked about that movie way too much. I love it. I want to watch it like right now instead of us recording.
Oh, wow.
If that worked out for you.
Jesus.
They call me. All right. Dan's not in the mood, he seems like today. Dan.
No, I am. Sorry. Just really trying. I was just on a conference call 30 seconds ago talking about work, and now I'm a professional.
Now you're in a worse conversation.
This is a conversation I want to be in.
Uh-huh. All right.
All right.
Big drinks of water here before we start talking. They are talking.
I got it.
All right.
I got a new computer, so I can't wait. Next week's show. Oh, you know what? I meant to tell you. There's a 50-50 chance I'm going like underwater spear fishing. And if I am, I won't be home next week on Monday. So I'll let you know. I mean, that's the other option if we want to push it, or you could get a special guest host, whatever you want to do. You get Duff back up in here.
Fuck Duff. No, I'm just joking. That's the only situation where I'm joking. I'd rather just push it to Tuesday if that works, rather than me just having to do it.
That's fine.
Okay. I am gonna be hungry too, so my stomach might be growling when we're doing this. Whatever. All right.
Great.
Ready to sync?
Yep.
1,
2.
Okay. Welcome to the Dead Inside Show. I'm Dylan Shuck, and I have read the Walking Dead graphic novels.
And I'm Dan Fields from Save for the Show, and I have not read the Walking Dead graphic novels.
In this podcast, we'll be discussing the 6th episode of the 8th season of the AMC original series, The Walking Dead.
In this show, we'll be analyzing the events from the most recent episode of The Walking Dead and comparing how they transpired in the graphic novel without any future spoilers.
And big shout out to our Patreon subscribers. If you want to be a Patreon supporter and support the show, you go to patreon.com/thewatchandtalk, and massive shout out to our premium supporters, Chiquita, June, and Kaka. How we doing?
Kaka means poop. I'm good, man. Real good.
If you hear us before anybody in the chat, it's because we stream these episodes live on YouTube. If you search for The Watch and Talk on YouTube, you can subscribe, and we will give you a notification when we go live. Otherwise, if you follow us on Twitter, we're pretty good about tweeting out and letting. And it's usually Monday.
Yeah.
Monday is midday. Next week it might be Tuesday. It might be a day late. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I subscribe because you get a notification. Honestly, it's fun to be in the chat room, but I think a lot of people probably listen to us when they're in their car or at the gym or making love, and so it's hard to.
It's easier with the podcast because one of the biggest things about it is you can listen at your leisure, and listening to it live is not part of the leisure.
It's tough. But I will say this, you get a little bit of extra spice because Dylan and I talk before the show and then about 3 hours after the show.
Yes.
We do a show about the show every time.
We do a post-show recap. It's like Talking Dead. It's called Talking the Dead Inside Show. So
it's pretty good, though.
Stay tuned for that, and where we discuss all the things that we said and did while we had our podcast episode. It's really fascinating. They announced, you know how there's a crossover between The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead?
I heard about it, and I was disappointed with the character it's going to be.
I don't think we should. Do you think we should probably?
Yes.
I mean, we can
We
say it.
should.
It's a freaking podcast about the show, so obviously you're interested in this.
Let's do this. Who would you have liked it to be? Now let's
I'll tell you
explain this.
exactly
So
who I would like it to be. I
what
can
we're
100%
talking
say.
about?
I can
Good.
answer.
I want to know what we're talking about. Is there will be a character from The Walking Dead who will now be on Fear the Walking Dead, which ostensibly probably means this is in the past of where the current Walking Dead timeline is. So this could be a character who's dead. It could be a character who's missing or gone. So who would you have liked it to be?
Anybody in the chat, chime in on who you would like it to be too. But I really wanted it to be Abraham.
Obviously, 100%. And of course, they knew that.
Would have been the best.
And they knew that. And so what did they do? They didn't pick Abraham.
They also picked somebody that really makes zero sense.
None. It's Morgan. And I'm annoyed by that.
Okay, so we're not watching Fear the Walking Dead right now, right? You're not watching it anymore?
I'm not, but I've been hearing that it's actually quite better, even though Jenna Elfman is now going to be on, which seems like odd casting to me. I'm gonna try to get back into it.
Maybe I will too. But I hear that the show is now in Texas / Mexico. When we were watching it, they got to Mexico, but I thought they were still the west coast of Mexico. But apparently they have traveled and they're in on the Texas Mexico border area.
Okay.
So did Morgan travel from Atlanta to Texas and then to Virginia?
And then back again?
Yeah.
I mean, and this is when he was going crazy. Maybe he'll have his son with him at that point too. Right. It's just, do we need another Morgan? I'm just so sick of as a character anyways. And his is he or is he not? And he's so emo, and I just, it's disappointing.
I'm not sick of him at all.
I
mean, there also could be way more disappointing characters. I just think Abraham would have been awesome, and we could have seen him meeting Eugene and him leaving with him and Rosita or whatever. I don't know. Imagine you being in a situation where you're in this post-apocalyptic world and you get to choose between Rosita and Sasha. I know we've moved way on past this, but this guy was the man. This guy was
and he was a great character.
And it's weird to see the situation of this. Anyway, sorry if that was a spoiler for you and you didn't want to hear it, but get over it. All right, let's get into this episode. Episode's called "The King, the Widow, and Rick."
Right. Should have been called "The Wet Fart."
I don't agree with that episode title. Also, because Rick is barely even in the fucking episode.
I know, right?
And same with Ezekiel. So is the King. The last episode could have been called this, or the 2 episodes ago.
Right. It started off so strong too. I loved the way they did that note reading, bouncing back and forth.
Yeah.
Maggie's reading it, and it's in Rick's voice, and then Rick is reading in Maggie's voice.
With Carol,
that was really well done. That was a super way to sort of be like, okay, everyone is now aware of everyone else, which oftentimes in TV shows is like the entire premise of issues, because one character doesn't know where another character is and doing this. They're all up to speed, which was nice to see and know.
This episode should have been called Nude Sculpting.
Oh man, yeah, that was a hot scene.
So all right, well, let's get into the episode. So Rick gets a note left in a microwave while he's walking down the road. They have these like points where they left their info. And is there people scouts that they send? Probably, right? I think that's the safest assumption.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
In the chat, by the way, they said English Paul said he's a big fan of Nick from Fear the Walking Dead. So he'd hoped that he was going to come to The Walking Dead. Oh,
that's like a promotion. That's from the minor leagues to the major leagues. Morgan got a demotion, if we want to think of it that way.
Also, English Paul has not seen the episode, so hearing Nude Sculpting, he has no idea what we're talking about. We'll talk about that in a second.
Great.
But yeah, we knew there was a crossover. We didn't know what show was going to be what. So going back to that's a good point. Nick is the best part of that show.
This is going to spoil it for me, but is Strand still on it?
I don't know.
Fuck. Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. I thought you were. He was my favorite part of the show.
Once we stopped doing the podcast on it. It was, But I've heard
Yeah.
about some of the deaths that happened and some of the things that happened, and was like, wow, I'm surprised
Okay.
that person died.
I got to get back into it.
Have you heard
I
about any of
liked
the main
him.
character? There's a main character that died. Did you hear about that? I'm not
I've
gonna talk about it.
completely I've avoided it because I thought I might watch it again.
Okay.
And I really like Strand. And you know, oftentimes in a TV show when they like make a character gay out of nowhere, it can seem contrived and kind of weird. And when they made him gay, it was pretty awesome and well
God
done.
made him
So
gay, Dan.
okay, fine. Yes, he did. It was you know what I mean?
Yes.
Let's move on. Sorry.
All right. So it's this episode, everyone's kind of licking their wounds from the battle.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron brings back Gracie and shows Maggie. And Maggie just becomes the mother. Basically, we see her basically nursing Gracie later. And everyone's reading updates they send to each other, like Dan said. And he says this could be our last fight, and it shows him approaching the garbage people. And the main lady is naked.
Jadis?
With an apron.
Is that her name?
Wait, what's her name again?
I think it's Jadis.
Yes, that's correct.
Mm.
And she's naked with an apron on, and she's sculpting garbage art.
Right. Like wire sculpture with her leather apron on because she's not completely unsafe. It's leather.
Right.
That's worth something.
Why? What is the top comment on the episode discussion on Reddit? By the way, Reddit, you think that we're being rough on the show? Reddit, they're walking down Reddit. You
ruthless.
You can't survive in that forum if you like what's happening on the show. Anything. Yeah. And the top comment is, I think the garbage people are the worst characters that are in television history. And I completely disagree, but they're bad.
It's the Reddit. I mean, Reddit is where conceivably the top fans are. And my podcast has a Reddit. And if my Reddit talked about my podcast like that, I'd throw in the fucking towel. Like, people are vicious and they're angry and they're mad. So, yeah, if you think Dylan and I we just expect more from the show. This is like our prized boy.
Yeah, and
he's getting great grades. And then we found weed in his backpack and we're really upset because he knows better than that.
Well, we were rough in the first 2 episodes, and I think we've been back to our normal selves. I think we're going to be back to our normal selves on this. I'm not as offended about the garbage people as they are on the Reddit. So they're weird. It's just like, what? I don't get what benefit is to them is talking like that.
Right.
Like, why what? Why did they have to come up with their own language?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
no. Here's my problem, because the show is supposed to, of course, have us suspend our disbelief, which we do often. I mean, there's a guy with a pet tiger, but I'm okay with that because it's fun and it's kind of interesting. But if all of a sudden we're going to have this sort of like odd race of people now with their own weird language,
like we're in Star Trek, and they
like we're in Star Trek, exactly. And at that point, there is no reason for them to be reveling in their trash heap, talking in this weird language, making rat sculptures out of coat hangers nude. I don't get it. It doesn't add to the show other than to make nerds like you and I raise our voice on a podcast.
Yeah, I just don't.
So there.
It's just, we already talked about the garbage people, a million times, but and they don't even have that much time in this episode. And so I think our past grievances are coming out right now, but it's just weird. Like, they're just, what they do is sit around and walk around in circles. It seemed like they were just kind of walking around like a bunch of walkers.
Yeah, sure.
And they're just naked, making sculptures, chilling there. That's what this whole thing was for. This is why they sided with Negan, so they can do this. Whatever.
They betrayed Rick and his team, and he made light of that. But still, maybe they have guns. I mean, I'm hoping that there's a reason here, and maybe Rick wanted to get captured on purpose. Who knows? I mean, hopefully he has a better plan than this. I'm trying to figure out why he wants some of that Jadis booty.
And the reason is you.
Not a good one. Nice one.
Gonna revel in this moment.
That's great.
So just a Hoobastank reference, guys. Jesus gets in trouble for giving away turnips, and they're just eating raw turnips. Can you do that? Is that like eating? Like, if you were on a desert island and you just found potatoes, could you just eat potatoes by itself like an apple?
God, no. You get sick.
You would?
I think. Okay, turnips. I'm not really sure. but I really don't think you could just eat a raw potato. Like it's so starchy. You wouldn't, your body maybe can't break down a raw potato, right?
I don't know, but I just thought a really good prank, it would be giving somebody a chocolate covered apple, but it'd be a potato.
I gave somebody a caramel covered onion at a high school
yes.
assembly. I told you that story on the podcast.
Wait,
where
so explain that? Sorry, guys. We're going to go off just talking for a second.
This is worth it. It was senior year. I was on the homecoming committee, and we pulled a prank on the girls who were the homecoming queens. And we said, hey, whoever can take the biggest bite out of this caramel apple wins something. But they were all onions. They were caramel covered onions. And these poor girls, we made them take a huge bite of an onion in front of the entire school, like some Carrie pig's blood bullshit. It was awful and so mean. And I regret doing it, but it was pretty funny. And
did they at least were they good sports about it?
No, they were furious. In fact, the one girl hated me for the rest of the year.
Still hates
and she tried to she still does.
Yeah. But
it was so rude.
I wonder what that I would have loved just to see the realization. At what moment do you realize you just bit into a raw onion? That'd be
not soon enough.
Anyway, if anybody out there wants to try that out, do it and then tweet us in at Dead Inside. Talk about it.
No, you can't do stuff like that anymore because people videotape it and then it lives forever.
Yeah, so that's exactly why
it makes it even worse.
Yeah. So he gets in trouble giving away the turnips. And then Gregory, comes around and suggests hanging everybody in the gallows.
Yeah.
Right? That's what gallows are for, to hang people, right? That's what that is? Or is it for
correct? Let's hang 40 people.
Right. Yeah. What are you gonna do? What kind of concentration camp are they fucking running here? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
For Maggie to act like this is out of character for Maggie. This is not Maggie. Maggie is not, we have to kill these people. We have to hang them. I know she's going through grief with Glenn, but I just don't get what's happening. Like, why is Jesus the only voice of reason?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, we can't let them live. We can't let them live. What do you mean? These people have fucking surrendered. It's like 40 people. Is this a concentration camp?
Right.
So why are we going through these 8-episode arc of everybody? Then finally they're going to be like, you know what? We have to let them live, which is what we know the show is going to do, right?
Right.
We know they're not going to have a concentration. We're not going to have them be Nazis. I know Nazis are in right now. Like you got to give Nazis their side to let them talk about how they feel now. In the year 2017, but I just don't think that. We know that it's not gonna. We're not stupid. We know they're not gonna. Maggie's not gonna be like, "Yo, let's kill all these people."
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what I kept thinking was gonna happen is Jesus was gonna say something like, "Listen, Maggie, what would Glenn do?" And Maggie was gonna whip around on him and say, "Don't you ever, bring Glenn into this or something." But nobody played the Glenn card, or maybe Gregory might have tried to play the Glenn card. And I love that he's calling her Margaret right now, by the way, which he's using as a total pejorative. He's using it to belittle her by using her formal name like he's her dad.
Right. Or a father figure to her.
Mm-hmm.
And that, well, man, Gregory has 100 lives, by the way.
Yeah.
I also have to say that, Maggie's 13 months pregnant now.
Yes, she's actually gestating forever.
And she's not even showing? No, I know we already talked about this, but when are they planning on it?
God.
Whenever we get this time jump, which we know is coming, right? We know we're going to get a time jump, right?
Oh, we do? We are?
Well, obviously, we already saw a time jump, right?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So whenever we get back to that place, I'm sure the baby's going to be born and we're never going to even see her pregnant.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So, anyway, come on, give us a baby bump, guys. Like a fist bump, but it's a baby bump.
Yeah, let me give you some. And she had a serious issue with her pregnancy where she the placenta became detached or she was bleeding or in pain. I mean, she should be on bed rest. She shouldn't be stressed out.
Running a concentration camp. What do they say in What to Expect When You're Expecting about running a concentration camp when you're pregnant?
There's actually a whole chapter on it, and it's very short. It says avoid it. Period. Next chapter.
Hitler didn't even do that. He didn't even do that while pregnant. So she's worse than Hitler basically at this point. Sorry if I'm offending anybody. All right.
You're
So
offending me.
Gregory, after suggesting hanging everybody, he does say that in front of the prisoners, and he said we should do it to save bullets.
Right.
And he's like, I'm right. And she's like considering it. Jesus like, what are we fighting for? Why is Jesus like the only person making any sense? Anyway. So Carol goes to visit Ezekiel, and the king is not receiving visitors. And I love Jerry. They find such great characters in these small roles. Like they find like fan favorites, like Carol, Daryl. Even though Daryl's not even a favorite of mine anymore. You know, Jerry, and like there's these random like characters that they'll introduce. Sadiq, also not a graphic novel character.
Oh, he is.
When they're all these characters that like Jerry's not a character in the graphic novel.
But Sadiq is?
Sadiq is not. No.
Sadiq is not. Okay, interesting.
These are all characters I just enjoy them. They find these gems out of like these new characters that stand out. I think it's pretty impressive.
I agree.
Anyway, and then he's like, he said he doesn't want me here, but this is what I do. Like, he doesn't understand. Like, what so blatantly obvious is that, yeah, everybody knows you weren't a king. They know you're not. What does he mean? I'm not a king. I was just playing a part. Every king's playing a fucking part, right? Like, you're not from a royal bloodline. You think that everybody was like, he's from the royal bloodline, so you have to follow him? No, they're following you because they want to follow you. You're a leader, and they needed that.
Mm-hmm.
Even though most of them are dead now.
Yeah.
It makes
most
sense.
Of the fighters.
This is exactly what happened in the graphic novel, and his character took it the exact same way.
Did he? Okay.
There's a storyline from it, especially after losing.
Oh, so he lost Shiva too in the graphic novel.
Almost same way. I can't believe I didn't talk about that last week.
Maybe you did, and I just forgot that could be totally possible. I've seen the actor that plays Ezekiel, and he's shaved bald head, and it's funny seeing him with the opposite of his hair on the show.
Right.
He looks quite different.
Yes. Yeah, that's a kind of hairstyle that makes you look completely different if you have it. Anyway, so then Rick goes and talks to Jadis and comes in and he's like, I shot you. He's like, you grazed me. Why come back after?
Right, with their like weird, terrible thing.
Come back. It's the same amount of words, same amount of syllables. Why come back after, and why did you come back? There's no efficiency to this. You're just mixing up anyway. And then he says you can be part of this new world of Alexandria, the kingdom, and the hilltop. It's funny as Alexandria, it's like seems like another show ago.
Oh God, seriously.
Alexandria is so little in the show and so far back that Maggie got pregnant there. That's how long it's been.
Jeez.
Just to give you an idea of how long, because we know how long that Maggie's been pregnant now for
6 seasons.
Yes, no, literally before the mid-season break. In the chat, somebody said first half of season 6. That's when she got. So it's been that long. And again, not showing. Okay, I know, guys. We're repeating ourselves. Anyway, she says no. She doesn't want to make the deal, or because he said, or we destroy you. Guys, like threats. What did you say? Threats and
I don't remember. Threats and dreams.
Yeah,
dreams and
threats. So I guess he's saying you're dreaming if you think you can destroy us. We're the garbage people.
Or dreams about us sort of being in your society, which I kind of believe. I mean, these people are more brainwashed and messed up than the saviors in a way.
I think what's up with her still wanting to lay with him? She's still jonesing for him, remember?
How could she not be, though?
He's with you? You were with him? Yes, I lay with him after. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Carol goes.
She's a sexual woman, though. Dylan, she's very sexual. She's in the trash dump naked. That takes a lot of sexual energy to pull something like that off.
Dan Fields, I completely agree with you. So yeah, Carol like leaves and the kid wants to come with her, and she's like, no. Why is what's up with her and kids always?
Yeah.
Always has this relationship with the child of the town's child.
They're drawn to her. Something about her.
So Maggie just lets Gregory just chill around her in some type of advisory role, just him and her.
Yeah, which is odd to say the least.
She actually seems to be listening to him too. I mean, in the end, it's like the way things transpire by the end. I get it, but it's like doesn't make sense as to why she had him around. And she says she keeps him around because she wants to keep her eye on him. Like, why don't you just keep him in a fucking cell? Then you can keep your eye on him there. Why do you need to keep your eye on him?
Right.
You think he's gonna go around and convince other people to join him?
He's going back to the sanctuary to try again, round 2.
Right. Yes. Like, but it's okay, whatever. Because him like turning on them and going and trying to make a deal with the sanctuary, that didn't even hurt them. That did nothing. That just made him look like a fucking weasel.
Well, it led to Father Gabriel getting captured, but they don't know that.
Right.
But they don't know that he did that. If Maggie knew he did that, then he would definitely be in the clink.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, so Michonne and Rosita, they've been behind because they've been healing. Almost forgotten about them, to be honest. They have not been in the show really. And Michonne wants to go check shit out, right? Like she obviously, like, I don't know. She's not. It's been a day and a half since the season began, right? They said.
Jesus, really, man, that's it.
Like, she still is. They both seem to still be capable of battling. I know that it showed her grab her side when she was fighting later, so that was letting us know that, right, that she's injured. But still, she seemed capable of being able to come along for some type of help. Right, I don't think she can get to arm combat, but she could fire a gun.
Yeah, I agree with that. But shouldn't she be staying back? I mean, isn't she like the most top-ranking person at Alexandria at this point? You got Carl running around the forest doing, side quests, escort missions, and no one's home. Who's watching Judith? Like, I have an aunt who was so weird about flying that when she would fly with her husband places, they would take separate planes because if the plane crashed, that way their kids would have one parent. I mean, that's, pretty insane.
Dan, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
Well, now she just doesn't fly at all. She's like, you can't explain to her why flying is safe. But anyhow, I get why maybe Michonne stayed back. God, I said her name weird.
Yeah, I know why say her name, and we're just.
I'm sorry. Michonne stayed back.
You try to say her name normally.
Michonne.
Try again. Right?
Michonne.
You still say it weird. You say Michonne.
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 Michonne stays back so she can watch Judith. She can hold down the fort. She's battle hardened, and now she's gone too. And so is Rosita. So at this point, what main character is at Alexandria if shit goes down?
I honestly am confused by where everybody is in the first place right now. So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm being honest. Like, who's left in Alexandria? Rosita, Michonne, Daryl, I guess.
Come on,
sorry.
You did that to be funny?
Tara. No, I didn't. Dylan, I have a condition, apparently. Who else is there?
Do you want to go to a doctor and get that checked out and we'll podcast it live? Like, I think
I have some sort of palsy or something. I don't know, man.
Anyway, so she says she basically feels guilty she wasn't there for them at the sanctuary, and she wants to turn off the alarm in her head and go see the sanctuary. Does she mean that she wants to see the sanctuary like she hasn't seen the sanctuary at all?
Or maybe to see the zombies surrounding them? Which, by the way, we didn't talk about that. Dylan, that Rick was taking those Polaroids, I guess, all along to show potentially the trash people or maybe other people, look, saviors are done for. And here's the photographic evidence. He had his analog version of Instagram. He pulled that out of his pocket and let her flip through the camera roll to see.
So he was like live Instagramming.
Yes.
The murder, or the him defeating the murder.
Yes. So anyhow, sorry. So they're on their way in the car.
Okay, so they hear a faint opera sound and they stop the car, and it was really hard deciphering if that was score or not. And I think the show was in a really tough position.
Yeah.
Because this is what they did. they played it and with only ambient sound. So it was like crickets chirping in the background and just that playing, and them responding. And then while they're walking to it, it stopped playing the opera, and then it started playing suspenseful music. And then they heard the opera again, and they stopped the music. They stopped the score again. So I think they were really struggling. Like, they'll understand this, right? I think they'll understand it, and I think that we did. But it was funny that it was hard deciphering it first.
Yeah. It was confusing and shocker. I mean, this has not been the season of good editing and understandable situations. I was confused until I saw that Mad Max looking baloney
which is why I
speaker
think they
thing.
were like, "Hey, I think people understand it by the end." So it's that it's like not a hold up for me at all because we did understand it by the end. But it was just funny at first, being like, "Am I missing something? Am I not hearing something? Oh wait, maybe
Right.
the score that I'm hearing is what they're hearing, and it's not the score." But I think that they clearly had a discussion about this, and they decided that it's clear by the end, so it's fine. Right.
Now, was this the place that Eugene was making bullets? I couldn't try to place where this actual place was. Huh. Okay.
So yeah, check out the Dead Inside Show, guys. The show where they have no fucking idea what's going on. Listen to their expertise, discuss and break down the show, and have no fucking idea what's going on. So Tara says to the geography of the whole show right now, completely out of whack. We have, as viewers, we have no idea how far anything is from each other, or what's happening. We don't know how far the sanctuary is. Like, literally, not even a clue how far the sanctuary is from the hilltop, and how long people are traveling, right? Like, I feel like the show is kind of blowing on that. I feel like there's another show where we have a much better idea, and I feel like travel sometimes, even though it got a lot of flack in the last season, has been consistent. It takes a long time to get from a place to a place. It takes several episodes or whatever. Is Game of Thrones, but a lot of people were complaining in this last season that
Who cares?
people were traveling over. I just feel like we have the geography of that makes a little more sense. And this, I have no idea. I have no idea if Alexandria is closer, or if the sanctuary is closer to the hilltop, or the kingdom. Like, we're right. Am I right about any of this?
No, I think you're right. And I think I should probably I heard about this new website. It's called Google. And I bet you there's probably like a pretty sick map of, I don't know, here's Alexandria, here's the hilltop. And that's
map
probably
of
got to
Westeros
exist.
also helped me out. So maybe we'll check out a map and study it a little bit, and we'll have more info on the next episode. Check out the next episode, Dead Inside Show, guys.
Yeah.
We might be a day late next week. Anyway, Tara says to Daryl that she wants to be the one to kill Dwight, because Dwight was the one that shot her girlfriend.
Right, through the eye with an arrow right in front of her.
And he says, maybe it can be us both.
Yeah. He made me eat dog food. Hey, do you watch Ride with Norman Reedus?
Oh, I would. There's like 20,000 other things I'd rather watch than that, so no.
Oh, what about, he's got Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Dave Chappelle.
Oh, then now I'll watch it.
I don't know. I just like that the network said, hey, guess what? Who's popular? Norman Reedus. He likes motorcycles. Let's give him a show. Does that mean he's a great host or interesting or just riding around going brap, 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 brap on his bike? I mean, give me a break. But also, maybe it'd be fun to see him and Negan palling around out of character.
Sure. Have you seen this show, Dan?
I have not, but I saw a preview for it last night when I was watching AMC's original series, The Walking Dead.
Ride with Norman Reedus. Everybody out there who watches Ride with Norman Reedus, tweet us in or email us in deadinside@gmail.com. I'm curious if you have any insight for it about it, because we'd like to talk about it, but I'm not gonna watch an episode, but I'd like to hear about it. So Carl's wandering around on his own, and he finds that guy from the earlier season that he gave food to, and the guy introduced himself. His name is Sadiq.
So Carl's been wandering around getting himself in problems since season 1. Like an idiot.
And he said that his mom said he has to help people and do what's right. And Carl really is drawn to trying to save this guy. And he asks the 3 questions. How many walkers have you killed? 237. How many people have you killed? Uno. That go. And number 3 is why. And he said the dead tried to kill them, but they didn't. So it clearly seems that the person that he's talking about was bitten, and he killed them before they turned. So they stopped suffering. Imagine
Yeah.
suffering so much that you're like, just kill me.
Ugh. Or I guess you got bit, and before you turned, he
I
killed
feel,
him as a human. I guess.
I'm sure we've discussed Dawn of the Dead, right? The Dawn of the Dead remake from
Probably.
2005, the Zack Snyder one, which is the best movie Zack Snyder did. Perhaps the only good, movie that Zack Snyder did. No, 300.
300 wasn't bad.
300 is good.
Yeah.
But this guy got bit, and he just lives in a jail cell, and they sit there and wait for him to turn, and he's sitting there with his family, and he's getting really bad, and then his daughter finally leaves him, and then Ving Rhames like watches over him until he turns, and then so then he can kill him. And the guy, his last thing he says is, and it's actually really well shot, and it's really well done, and he's just sitting there, and he's just like, "You want every single second." And that's the last thing he says before he turns. And it's a really slow scene, and it's really patient, and you just get to watch this guy like, going through his final moments, and it really stuck with me. And I feel like that's the situation. If I was getting bit, I would be that guy. I would be like, I want every minute that I can possibly, because
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
I like living for the most part, unless I get a bad, mean review. Oh, we got a good review.
Oh, great.
Before I forget, might as well just read it now in the middle of this. It's very short, and I couldn't remember where this person had done another review, because the name I recognize. So the review says,
Mm.
it's
Great.
from Hag 1246. I don't remember what other show Hag to review on, but we had somebody else named Hag, and we made fun of the name Hag.
Okay.
So I can't figure out. All right, I'm briefly.
This is great.
This is great content right now. Is that what
This
you're
is
saying?
good content.
Okay, shut up. All right, so their
you done-
review is very long. It says, "Fun and entertaining." That's the subject. The review
Okay.
says, "Great after show."
That's it? You said it was long.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. That's great. Thank you, Hag.
Then it says hashtag Hag. Hag.
Hey.
Which is a reference to last time they did a review. Did you remember me reading a review for something named Hag? No, they didn't do this. I don't
not
know.
really.
I'm confused. I'm giving bad content, but thank you, Hag. You're not that bad. You're not so haggy after all. Anyway, so the guy Sadiq talks about how killing them
Releases their soul.
Their mom used to, and I like that. I like the concept of that. That we've never seen somebody who's just on the show that their whole goal is just go around and kill as many walkers as they can.
Right. Release them.
Right. I feel like, I feel like that's something I would want to do. I'd be like, I don't want to go fight people. Like, I want to spend every day that I can killing every walker that I can, because that just gives me a goal. That sounds like a goal. Like, like right now we all have goals in our lives to, have a family and then grow old and, have a good retirement. And those plans aren't your thing anymore in the zombie apocalypse, right? You're not trying to save up your 401k, right?
Right. Sure.
So why not make a goal of how many? Let's do high score. How many walkers can we? Because this guy's keeping track too, and I think that's if I made a thing out of it, I think that would be what I would be doing. I'm Sadiq. Sadiq
Well,
I'm Negan.
If he's a Muslim guy, there's an afterlife, so I guess he's doing these guys a favor by releasing them. And
why are you assuming that he's a Muslim guy?
Because his name's Sadiq, and he wasn't he praying or something when we first met him, or was he talking to his mom?
Yeah, but you can't assume he's Muslim.
I think they want us to. His name's Sadiq, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but funny other.
Well, he's not Jewish, so I don't think Jews have an afterlife. Okay, fine.
Could be Jewish, and he and his family had to flee a Middle Eastern country because he was Jewish, and then arrived in the United States before the zombie apocalypse, or grew up in it, and his family had fled Iran because the Muslim
this is
Iran Revolution in the 70s. Maybe that's what happened, Dan.
I want to see his dick, because is he circumcised or not? Then we'll know if he's Jewish.
Then we'll know. All right. So
I got 3 questions for you.
Are you circumcised?
Are you cut, bro?
So, so the kid from the kingdom is randomly out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Just jump cut. Kids fighting walkers in the forest.
Little shit.
Really weird edit. But whatever. And Carol saves him and yells at him. The kid's not a really good actor.
No, he's a kid.
Yeah. Like, there haven't been good kid actors.
Should have been Dustin from Stranger Things. Crossover.
Right. This episode was directed by a gentleman named John Paulson. First episode of the show he's directed.
Okay.
Done a bunch of really shitty shows.
Oh, I can tell.
Without a Trace, Flash Forward. I remember that. That was like they were trying, like, Lost. The ABC was trying to pick up another show, like similar idea. The Mentalist, Blue Bloods, Elementary, just all these USA TNT shows he's directed.
Okay.
You're not interested in this at all, are you?
No, but while you were doing that, I was multitasking, and I found a map of like Virginia and Alexandria is, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5 miles away from the kingdom, but it's pretty far away from the sanctuary. I mean, I'm having a hard time figuring out, but it looks like it's a good 15 miles away.
You're seeing this on a map of Virginia.
More. Somebody took a Google map of Washington, D.C., and Virginia, and it's the whole thing. And they've plotted out in D.C. Here's Alexandria.
So
here's the
you
hilltop.
said you're just looking at a map of Virginia. So I was like, wait, you're looking at an actual map of Virginia. But you're saying like a Walking Dead made.
Yeah, somebody did a pretty good job here of like where they think the sanctuary is, where Alexandria is, and yeah, the sanctuary is very far away from these. But yeah, Google that. It's the first hit that came up if anyone else is interested in seeing it. And the hilltop is really far away from Alexandria.
Jesus is guarding the prisoners like his life depends on it, and one of them seems to be fucking with him.
Yeah, what was his name?
Oh,
they didn't say it. I think he gave it, and Jesus didn't. He ignored it because, you know, once you get a name for a prisoner, then you got to keep him like a pet.
But I like how he's just guarding them, right? He's just completely guarding them as much as he
can.
Mm-hmm. Which is, you know, perhaps what I would be doing, because he's just like, he doesn't trust like what they're gonna do.
Right.
Is it possible that the guy's name? Yeah, the guy's name is Dylan. His name's Dylan.
That's
but
funny.
It's spelled Dillon, which is a different name in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally different.
It's like the difference between Jeffrey and Geoffrey.
Right. I get you. Sure.
Different name. So anyway, Maggie says to bring them all in, and then says that they'll basically keep them in a little makeshift cell and feed them, but expects 100% cooperation.
Mm-hmm.
And then Gregory's Dumas says, just kind of just spitballing here, but we can't keep people in these walls we don't trust. Like, you're right, Gregory. I've been thinking about what you said. I'm from a farm, and I know all about wolves and sheep.
Yeah, hit that south hard.
He cries and pleads and gets put in the cell.
Damn, he broke
Jared
down.
runs his mouth and is still spared. I just don't know why Jared's not hung in front of everybody as like an example.
You know, Gregory bumped his head on a post, and now he has a big bloody ass face. Yeah. And Jared got the stock of a rifle to the mouth twice, and yeah, he's fine. He's all good.
And then that guy Dylan thanks her and says, "Don't make me regret it, or you will."
Can we talk about this guy? Do you think he's genuine and trying to have an exit strategy so he can be in phase 2 of the hilltop, or is he like these other saviors who you're going to stamp on your birth control pills and try to kill you?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I was saying to my wife last night, especially with Sadiq, like, please let there be good guys again. Like, the saviors have just made me just so annoyed and disgusted. Well, Sadiq in general, let this other guy, like, I hope the next phase of the show is maybe like, we're building a community and we're moving forward a little bit. I'm trying to figure out who the next villain is possibly going to be. Maybe something to do with the helicopter, but maybe it becomes like the government and they're fighting the government. I don't know, but enough bad guys. Like, let love win, Dylan, please.
It's not interesting anymore. Surprise us by having good people. Also, again, we've said if you want to have this sanctuary grounded in reality at all, like perhaps have somebody like Dylan being like, "Hey, this is, maybe we were in the wrong," or, "Hey, we lost the battle, but we can still coexist."
Right.
Or be like, not just be like, "Hey, I'm trying to rape everything and kill whoever, and I can't
Enough
wait for that
already.
baby to get killed." Like,
Seriously.
it's not realistic. It's just you just have all the villains of the world got together and they're just villains. Yeah, whatever.
Right. Well, and
S-
you and I mean, we've made no bones that you and I are pretty liberal and we're not big fans of Trump and stuff like that. So I don't want to watch shows. This is why I stopped watching House of Cards,
One
where I
thing,
just felt like,
before you even continue with that, you don't have to be
yeah,
liberal to not be a fan of Trump, but
that's true.
you just have to be like
That's
a
a good,
decent human being. But whatever.
right. That's a good distinction to make. You can be very conservative and still hate Trump. But anyhow, I like to get away from that. And when the show, I feel like, is the bad guys are winning, I feel like the bad guys are winning right now in America. And I don't want to escape to more doom and gloom, except for Mr. Robot. That's a doom and gloom that I can get behind. But anywho, please go on.
Still don't watch Mr. Robot.
I know you don't. That's okay.
I suck at watching shows now in general. Like I'm just for the most part, other than the shows that I podcast about, it's movie. It's just I'm in movie mode for the past couple of years.
Well, and for you, since you probably watch TV now with a purpose because you have to do a show about it.
Right. It feels like
you
work.
need to yeah, exactly, and that's too bad.
Right. It feels like work, and that's a weird way of
Mm-hmm.
that's where my mind has gone after doing these TV show podcasts for the past 3 or 4 years. But anyway,
I feel that way about porno. It's work.
it's just work. It's just
for me in general.
All right, Sadiq and Carl, they see walkers eating deer, and without any strategy or plan, they're like, "For your mom." And then, I must say, I hate the strategy of stabbing a walker under their jaw. I think it's a bad strategy. It's the farthest away in their head from their brain.
Yeah, the knife would have to go real deep, but I guess you don't have to go through a skull.
Yeah, but maybe, yeah, I guess that's the softest area, so maybe that is. But your knife has to be really far, and it seems like temple is where I'd always go. Temple, boop, boop. Pretty soft.
I think it's horseshit though that they eat animals because the animal's dead. And technically, they only seem to like living things.
Right.
So the animal's already dead, so they shouldn't be eating it. And if it's just meat, at that point, you could be throwing like chicken wings.
They had zombies animals. Imagine a zombie horse. That would be the scariest possible thing.
With a taste for human flesh.
Right. Like, yeah, you could say, oh, a bear would be scary, or a tiger. Why is that more scary than an actual tiger? Yeah, it's a little more scary, but imagine a horse. If horses were carnivorous, by the way, Dan, in general, they would be the scariest animal on the planet.
They would absolutely be.
Imagine a carnivorous horse. You're imagining a nightmare scenario, Dan.
It's awful.
Let's move on from it.
Hey, make a note real quick. I press pause for 1 second. I have to answer this phone call. Just give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Can we listen to it? Can we listen to it? Mamba, up.
Sorry about that.
Oh, Dylan? No worries, my friend.
All right.
No worries.
I never stop recording, so just we can keep going. So let's move on. We're
Never
tangenting
stop.
all over the place.
Won't stop. Never stop.
Oh,
Hold
Ovo
on.
Cash, what's up? Oh, Helen Lee in the chat room.
What happened? Oh, I'm not.
We got some. I just looked. We got some
Oh, giving away
spammers in there.
iPhone 8s. Let's check that out.
Oh, yeah, look into it. Okay, where are we at?
Wait, you know what the scariest man on the planet is? Man, cough. I meant animal. Damn. Oh, Helen Lee dating with hot girls. What the?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Let me back up where I was. All right. Locking the rolls. All right. So, all right. So Sadiq and Carl, they almost get killed.
Mm-hmm. Very frustrating sequence of events.
Right. And then there's it was almost about to bite Sadiq's arm. And then now we're supposed to be like, wait, did he get bit? Because I hate when the zombie show does this. Or a zombie movie. Where you're you see somebody about to get bit and then it cuts right away.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wait a second. Is that person's bit?
Right. Are we supposed to be saying, later will they show us a bite?
Right. And I looked at his, there's no way that he got bit through his jacket, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But kind of a show us, but.
Well, and the way Carl shot them point blank, you shoot a zombie that close with a gun, their head's going to just explode. And plus, shooting a gun that close to your own head with no ear protection, and so I get it, they can't make it completely real, but that scene was frustrating in terms of realism.
And yeah, so but they don't die. Whew. You thought Carl just died right there like that. How stupid that would have been.
Oh, the worst.
So yeah, and Carl wants to bring the dude in, and Dad was the right way of being right.
Yeah, that's just what he needs.
So Rosita and Michonne check out the place the music came from, and you hear the people discussing Negan and shit. If you listen to a conversation, it was ridiculous they'd be having that conversation right then, and they're like that.
Right. Well, and not only that too, but Rick said that there's snipers on the building, and so at what point did the two of them go back, see it all, and on their own say, you know what, we're coming up with a plan that has nothing to do with Negan. Right. This is our own idea, deal with it, and here we go.
And then Rosita and Michonne came up with a game plan with a few nods to each other.
Right. That was it. That's all it took.
And then but yeah, and then she accidentally kicks a tennis ball that rolls out, and I think that was actually really well done.
That was.
Showed that slowly roll out there, and they spot Rosita and they shoot at her, and naturally she drops her gun,
right, like an idiot.
And then Michonne starts fighting her, and then Rosita dusts this dude with a rocket launcher.
I mean, again, that thing exploded like a goddamn. Like a fireworks booth.
That's not what would happen with that either. It would push the dude backwards, and then it would wait till it hit something hard. Or it would be detonating while they flew through the air, not just the explosion just happens like it hit a brick wall.
Right. Exactly.
And then the guy was just disintegrated?
Yeah, into red mist.
Yeah, that's also not what happened. It would be a big bloody mess, because there's a lot of blood in a person and organs. Right. And they wouldn't just be disintegrated because they got hit in the chest with a rocket launcher. But that was their interpretation of it. It was kind of a cool effect. I can't hate on it as much as some people are. It was just... But we've already seen this on the show. They've already done this with somebody. Remember they showed this...
Yeah, the bikers.
Right.
Yeah.
And, dude... So you're not showing us anything new to be like, wow, cool and new.
Right.
Anyway. So then the girl escapes... And with the speakers, and I really loved how we just think that we're gonna see her drive off, and I know where Daryl just shows up, boom, and then he just gets out, and we see it from their perspective, and he gets out and he pop, and he mows them down.
Yeah. That was a great scene. Which, by the way, that woman was gorgeous with her perfectly done hair, and they were like characters, fantastic B-roll characters that are just now dead. They were kind of not like Jerry and Carol. like you said, but they did seem interesting and with personality. And now they're already completely toast and
Yeah.
off the show.
And like, they had their I mean, those imagine the actors sitting around with their family and being like, "We're gonna watch your big episode." They just get killed. Like it. I mean, whatever. This is fine. I thought it was a nice surprise that Daryl just took them out, just came just in them out of nowhere,
It was cool.
and to see him just like get out of the car and make sure she's dead. So Carol rolls in to see Ezekiel again after seeing the kid, and be like, these people need inspiration again." And she rolls up with a shotgun.
Yeah, ready to rock.
And to blow the door open. And Jerry's like, "Yo, door's unlocked." And she goes in. He's pretty bummed, and he feels that he failed everybody, and he doesn't feel real. And she said, "You inspired them to build this place. You gave them hope." And he says he can't. We'll see how long that lasts.
Mm-hmm.
That I could continue about that scene, but come on, guys. Like, yeah, right? Like, we all understand that scene was really prolonged. She was really repeating herself a lot too. I was like, come on. Anyway,
Right.
Jared
And nothing happened. Like
Jared starts cutting out of his rope.
Yeah,
right.
right.
The other dude creeps up and stops him, and he says, "I'm not gonna let you get us killed." And he's like, "You think they're gonna kill us? This place is gonna be ours."
Yeah, that piece of shit.
Again, he's overly confident with the Savior's ability, right?
Oh, totally. Well, I mean, does he know that the sanctuary is overran?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know. Who knows what everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
So Aaron's going through his grieving process with Maggie, who's now taking
I did
care
like
of
that
Gracie.
guy a lot, though. Sorry, by the way. Jared. His name's Jared, right?
Yeah.
He was great in Candlebox. I don't know if you were a fan.
But
you know Candlebox? The band from the 90s? Are you serious? Oh, jeez. Well,
I mean, yeah.
Maybe.
What did they sing?
They sang, oh, Christ. I can't even.
Christ?
Oh, Christ. Ah. No, I can't think of any of their songs right now.
So they're a huge band.
They were like a very popular grunge band.
But you can't think of a single song.
From the 90s. They sang song. What's the name of this song here? This is awful, Terry. Move on, please.
No, I'm not going to cut you.
It's terrible.
Great content.
Stop. Go. Next.
No, I'm Googling Candlebox and just came up with eBay candle boxes. Oh, rock band, Candlebox. Albums, Disappearing in Airports.
Only You. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like, Only You. No, no, no. And they have another song called Far Behind. I remember that one.
Alrighty.
Someone at home is pumped right now, okay?
Maybe I've heard
Trust
them.
me.
And, well, it's probably one of those bands I've heard a bunch of times, but just don't know who.
Now, baby.
All right,
no. Fuck you.
So Maggie says that they might trade the saviors for their own people. If we don't, we can't let them live. Okay. You're just gonna fucking gas them. Sure, whatever. Whatever, Maggie. I'm sure that's what's gonna happen on the show. We're really believing that you're gonna gas 40 people.
She's tough.
Enid leaves with Aaron. We might be gone for a while. Don't know what's happening here at all. No idea.
Mm-hmm. None.
And Rick is just chilling in his little prison. He's buck naked, looking out of a hole.
Right, because it's so hot, I guess. Why is he nude?
I think they took his.
Oh boy.
He's jonesing for it.
Mm-hmm.
In general, I wouldn't call this a great episode. This was a normal, this would be a normal, whatever episode in previous seasons, but it stands out compared to the first two episodes for sure. It was fine.
Nothing happened. Just nothing happened. The story didn't move forward.
That's fine.
Essentially. Mm-hmm.
Fine. Things move forward because, that speaker car was just stopped.
Yeah.
No, this is a complete filler episode. It's the definition of it. But it's fine. It wasn't there was nothing that was glaringly terrible or anything like that, which is, a standout for me is when it's not glaringly terrible.
Right.
Ready to get into the segments?
Let's do it.
The segments, we go over our awards for the episode. We'll start with the first one, which is the worst decision. Gregory overplayed his hand, my friend. Overplayed his hand.
He sure did. So what was the decision? Not killing him or Gregory?
No, Gregory deciding to speak up. Hey, we can't.
Oh, right.
We can't have somebody here we don't trust.
Mm-hmm.
Bad move, my friend. Bad move.
My worst decision was not killing Jared. Like, clearly, without a doubt, they're keeping him around for some sort of escape shenanigans, which he probably will do. It'll probably lead to a place where he'll grab Maggie and have a gun to her head, and she'll be like, "Go ahead, and you just kill me, kill him. I'm bigger than this," and something like that. And then, Morgan will come out of nowhere and bonk him on the head with his staff, like Donatello, and that'll be that. So it's a terrible decision, but I see why the show is doing it.
Let's get to the next one, which is the best kill. I mean, I guess the rocket launcher kill.
Duh, of course. I mean, that's kind of the only.
I do have to say,
kill of note.
Sadiq smashing a walker's head against a tree and it just turned into Jello. It made me think, how did they do that?
Right.
Like I remember thinking,
environmental kill. Yeah.
Environmental kill. Exactly. Perfect. Let's get into the next one, which is the best line. Here's what your best line.
I'll go first. Sure. Mine. I had a hard time picking out a really good one, but I like you. I just love Jerry, and I liked his line where he's just like, "This is what I do," and in a world of, I don't know, people like you said playing a part or acting to be something, where you got the trash people who are too far, but then you got Jerry who's self-aware enough to know that he is sort of faking this role as royal bodyguard, but it's still a job and it's still important and he still wants to do it. And yeah, that line resonated with me. What about you?
I like, yo, door's not locked. I just like that moment in general. I know it's a little anticlimactic for it, but I just enjoyed it. I thought that was a good one.
Very Jerry.
Very, very Jerry. All right, let's get into the next one, which is the prediction of the week. So it kind of showed Gregory listening in on.
I didn't see the trailer for next week this time.
Okay. It showed Gregory kind of listening in on the Jared and Dylan's conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he could perhaps uncover a plot, and this will be like a part of a redemption arc.
Really? Okay. Mine is, I think Tara's going to die.
His ass killed.
Well, I mean, I think there's no way he can redeem himself at this point. I think he gets exiled, reverse exile, and maybe he takes up with Simon, or he tries to go back to the Saviors. Who knows? But I know I've been saying that I think maybe Ezekiel's going to die. I want to flip that to now I think Tara's going to die. And maybe right now, like, Daryl and Tara and Rosita and Michonne, they're going there. They're in there. They're just going to do it all on their own. Like the four of them are going to do what? Take that garbage truck. Maybe it's filled with dynamite. They're going to explode. Let the walkers go in. Daryl's going to go against what Rick says. Maybe, but I think in this scenario, Tara is going to, overplay her hand and end up getting killed, because I think as much as it pains me to lose her, I think she could be lost on the show, and it would be sad.
Like, I'm really unimpressed with her as a character right now, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I can't.
That's why I think maybe she could get clipped, especially all this foreshadowing about her wanting to kill Dwight. Like maybe in order to not blow his cover, Dwight will actually have to kill her or something like that. Who knows? So we'll see.
All right. Final one is the tweet of the week. This is from a listener named Sandy, and said, how do you think the garbage people came to be? I don't remember if we had a conversation about this or not, but we kind of like have this like idea that they were like part of some like group of Dungeons and Dragons players or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's what it seemed like. They were actors or something like that. But then that's the same plot line as Ezekiel. So
I don't know. It's not in the comic.
No, these characters are not in the comic.
The trash people are not in the comic at all.
At all. No, they're
interesting. Okay.
So of me sitting there raving about oh, when they do these off the script things, they're really good. Well, I mean, it doesn't hold up for everything. That's
Right. Okay.
What's yours?
That was tweet of the week. Oh, what's my
Oh no, I'm
my
sorry.
what?
What's your idea? Like, what do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe like you said, there was a couple Jadis and a few of them, and they seem to have ragtag people. Like they're not evil; they're just kind of weird, like outcasts. And they're certainly kind of people, Renaissance fair people, who might be drawn more to that than a savior type or even a hilltop type. But I don't know. I really don't have any good theory at all where they came from and why they chose a trash heap. I guess because it's safe, but there's no fruit or water, or where do they even sleep?
They just like to sculpt, Dan.
Art is life.
Why do you tell people where they can follow you? Why do you tell people where they can follow you on the internet?
How about you follow me at Dan the Beast, and listen to my podcast, saveitfortheshow.com. It's super good, and I think you're going to like it a lot. And I do want to give a special shout out to Twitter user JFuns1 because he tweeted at me and told me about The Punisher and basically said it's Shane. Like the entire show is Shane. He's protecting his family. He's sullen. He's violent. And that if you like Shane, you're going to love The Punisher. But I still haven't gotten back into it.
Honestly, of all the Marvel shows, that one looks the most interesting to me, and it's because of Shane.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the exact reason that I'm excited to see it. Because also I saw a scene of him in Daredevil when my roommates was watching it. It looked freaking incredible. Like it looked gnarly. It was like pretty insane. So
well, Daredevil is supposed to be awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
From what I've heard.
Man, that's just Marvel shows in general aren't super exciting for me.
It's only because everything is Marvel and it's not going away. It's just not going to stop. Like Marvel is taking over everything, and it's a little annoying. But anyway,
every time somebody else tries, like DC, they freaking fail terribly.
God, right? Well, save it for the show. Check it out.
For me, you can follow me at Shuckster. That's SEHUCKSTR. If you go to thewatchandtalk.com, you can check out my movie review podcast, and which is a.
Have you done Coco?
We will be doing Coco. I haven't done Coco. Why did you watch Coco?
I mean, I watched it over the weekend. It was incredible.
We're gonna do it. You're gonna discuss it with me then.
Sure. So I cried.
Check out
so
Dan.
Hard.
Check out Dan on that podcast episode we're gonna record later in a couple.
I really did cry. It was a fantastic movie from beginning to end.
I'm excited. because you never get to come on there because you never go to see movies.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. I was supposed to see it last
night. Be forewarned, there is a 20-minute Frozen cartoon before it, and it's legitimately 20 minutes.
Don't tell me.
No. I'm just telling you. You don't have to get there on time. Like if you have no interest in seeing a 20-minute long, kind of pointless and so don't even bother getting there on time unless you like to get a seat or you don't have an assigned seat or whatever. Anyway, sorry. Watch and talk. Listen to it.
Yeah, we'll review Coco later this week. We also reviewed 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri last week. We did a bunch of movies too. We did Lady Bird and Florida Project. So if those are movies that sound interesting, you check that out. Next week, I think we're going to be doing The Darkest Hour. We're in the middle of Oscar season. We have a big episode coming up for The Disaster Artist, and I read the book. We've studied The Room so much recently. If you if the idea of The Room is funny to you and you're into it, definitely check that out because we have a big episode planned for that too. So check it out. Follow me at Chuck.
Great.
WatchTalk.com. This show you can follow us at Dead Inside Show. Email us deadinsideshow@gmail.com and tweet us at Dead Inside Show. I don't remember what else I missed. That's it. I'm Dylan Chuck.
And I'm Dan Fields.
And we'll see you next week.
All
right. See everybody in the chat. I got to run. I'm behind on things. I don't know if you noticed me picking up the pace.
No, that's fine. I got to get moving too.
I'm going to message you tomorrow, and we're going to figure out a time that we can have a conversation about the Coco.
Yeah. I don't know if I could do it this week.
Maybe the weekend or something.
It depends if I have to go if I do this fishing thing. Oh, what's up, Fonzie?
Anyway, you got to go. Love you. Bye.
Okay, bye.